we're in Psalm 20. We're starting a new psalm. Yesterday we started it, and we're looking today at verses 1 and 2. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Psalm 20 and 21 go together. Psalm 20 is the prayer before the battle. Psalm 21 is the celebration after the battle. And so I think the context here for us is that today and every day that we wake up, we're being sent into battle, really a spiritual battle. We're to fight the good fight of faith. We're to war a good warfare. And there is a battle for our souls. There's a battle for our attention. There's a battle for our attitudes and our hearts. And God gives us the resources to enter that battle confidently, courageously, gratefully, resting in Him and letting Him fight for us. But we need to know what those resources are, and we need to lean into that battle. So the prayer goes like this: the Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. So this is the people praying for the king, blessing the king, basically, as he's leading forward, as he's leading the nation, as he's fighting his battles on behalf of the people. The Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the God of Jacob defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary and strengthen thee out of Zion. So God hears me. The idea there is that He's going to answer me. When? In the day of trouble. Not just a 24-hour period, but a time or a season of trouble. And if we're not in one right now, then I don't know ever in my life when I've ever been in one. I mean, this is a day of trouble. We're living in a troubled day. A lot of people are facing that trouble and feeling that trouble. I got a long, really nice email this morning from a lady. I've never met her, but she grew up at Emmanuel. And over this time during COVID, God's brought her back to Emmanuel, not physically, but online. And as I read the email and just hearing about God's unfolding work in her heart, I just rejoiced, first for her mom, who is a faithful member of our church and has prayed for her daughter. And both of these ladies might be watching right now, but just such an encouragement to think about how God is at work even in the day of trouble. But we cry out to Him from our trouble, and we can rest assured if we know Christ as Savior, He hears us. He has an intent to answer us. And the name of the God of Jacob, the name of the God of Jacob, the God of gods, the one God, the true God, the only God who loves you, who knows you by name, God of Jacob, is this idea that God knew Jacob. He's personal. He's not just some undeterminate force or some impersonal force. No, He's a God with a person, with a personhood. And He knows me, and He wants me to know Him. He knows my name. And He will defend me. To defend is to be strong. To defend is to be strong for. To be strong in place of. Okay, so you're weak, He's strong. I'm weak, He's strong. We cry out to Him from our weakness. We cry out to Him from our trouble. And we know He hears us. And we know He will defend us. And then He's going to send. He's going to send me what? He's going to send me help. He's going to come to my aid from His sanctuary, from His place. The idea would have been that tabernacle, right? The place that represented the supernatural presence of God. So put yourself in ancient Israel's context, and David is fighting battles on behalf of his nation. There's this tabernacle, this tent, where the Ark of the Covenant stands, and God has so miraculously intervened in the past. And that tent, that tabernacle, that sanctuary would have represented God's supernatural presence, but all of the stories of their past of how God supernaturally sent help to them. And they would have had this idea that it was coming out of that sanctuary, okay? Well, you are the sanctuary now. God's Spirit lives within you. But the picture is that God from within you is gonna work in you, be strong for you, and send help to you. And He's not just gonna send you help. And by the way, help is just help. It's whatever you need. Maybe not whatever you want. Maybe not the kind of help you expect. But He's going to help you. He's going to give you what you need when you need it. And hasn't He done that through all of COVID for all of us? The challenge for me is differentiating between the help I want and the help God is sending. Okay, there's a kind of help that I want Him to send me, and there's a kind of help He's sent me. If I'm focused on the kind of help I want Him to send me, then I'm going to probably miss the help He's already sent. If I focus on the help He's already sent, I'm going to get through. I'm going to have joy and peace and strength, and I'm going to be able to take advantage of what he has sent me and the resources he does put at my disposal. So there's the resources I want, and if I'm looking at that, I'll just think God hasn't answered me. Maybe you need to stop looking at the resources you want and step back and take a bigger picture and say, wait, has God sent me help that I'm not looking at? Has God provided for me in a way that I'm not realizing, that's not on my wish list? Maybe he has. Probably he has. So the Lord send thee help from the sanctuary and strengthen thee. The idea of strength, again, is to sustain or support or to refresh you out of Zion. And that idea of Zion is, again, the same idea as the sanctuary. Zion was physically a hill in Jerusalem, but it's representative of the presence and the unmovable, fixed place of God in our lives. That's God's place, okay? And he rules. It's a picture of his providence. It's a picture of his sovereignty, his love, his provision, his promise, his unchanging place in my life. So, my friend, we're in a day of trouble. We serve a great God who knows our name, who will rise to our defense. He will be strong for us when we are weak and not able to be strong. And the whole picture there of being strong for us versus me being strong for him, but we got to get that right. It's not me being strong for God. It's God being strong in me and strong for me. And he will send me help today from his place, from his sanctuary, from his place of supernatural providence and power and presence. And he will strengthen me. He will sustain and support and refresh me